All right. Welcome back, everyone. Sidel thinks something's funny. I don't know about you all, but she loves to laugh at me. She does. I'll trip or hurt myself, and she'll just laugh. And her favorite, so she has 4 words. I am mad. And those are some important words. She lets us know. And then with the fists, I'm mad. She used to say no, but she kind of dropped that for now. So she says, I'm mad, and S-H-I-T. Thanks, Dad. But you know what? For a child who has 4 words, I will take it. I'll take any words that come out of her mouth. Okay. All right, let's get going. It's kind of hard to go after Terry Jo, but okay. I'm ready. Okay. So the NR2F1 Patient Registry / Natural History Study is being launched today. Yay! Yay! We have been waiting for this and working on this. I should say, when I say we, I say Stephanie right here. I don't know if you all heard, but we initially we were with another company, and we worked on it. Stephanie worked on it for quite some time back in, what was it, August? The company was bought by another company, and that was okay. We knew about that. Well, that new company decided, you know what, we don't need it anymore. So 24 hours after we launched that, they shut it down. So we had to start all over. And it's been a blessing in disguise. Since then, we've learned so much with Combined Brain, and we have saved a lot of time in the long run. So it's actually been a great, great thing. So we don't need them. I like to think of this, and actually Stephanie referred me to this quote when we think about the patient registry and natural history study, that someone is sitting in the shade today because someone planted a seed a long time ago. Simple but powerful. Happens to be by Warren Buffett. I double-checked it, triple-checked it, sure enough, he really said this. And that's a picture of one of our kiddos. So who participates? Let's clarify that this is an international patient registry and natural history study. So it is for every patient and caregiver with BBSOAS around the world. This is not just USA. And who participates as well is with a confirmed BBSOAS diagnosis. Well, what does that mean? It's pretty obvious, right, to us. But again, Terry Jo's talking about what the FDA needs and all those rules. A confirmed diagnosis means a genetic report, so that does need to be uploaded. Are you all familiar with your genetic reports? Yes. Can you understand it? No. That's what the registry will help you with. So what about other languages? Well, Matrix, oh my goodness. Let me back up. We are collaborating. The registry that we have chosen is Matrix, and Matrix is a part of Across Healthcare. Across Healthcare was created by Jason Colquitt, who himself has a rare disease. He's been doing this for years. He decided, I believe, the stories, he decided he wanted to start this business and this company because what he found, what he was using didn't work for him as a person living with rare disease. So he decided to go ahead and start it. So he has been wonderful in working with us and our needs as a foundation in the community, what we need in our registry, what we need, how we want it how the app works and everything. So it's been wonderful. So that is who it is. It's Matrix. So Matrix is available in English, Spanish, Italian, French, and German. The surveys right now are only available in English. And again, to give you some idea, and Dr. Bichelle can correct me if I'm wrong, and Stephanie, creating a survey and getting it passed by the IRB, which is the International Review Board, is not easy and takes time. And you have to get it passed, reviewed by every single survey in one language. So one survey in one language in English takes a long time. And then for each language. So right now, the surveys are just in English. So for those that want to start answering those surveys and English is not their first language, they need assistance, we recommend, any care provider or somebody in the medical field that your child works with to assist you in helping with that. So again, this being a time-consuming process, it's not that it's not going to happen. It is our goal as a foundation and many other foundations along with us that all the surveys will eventually be translated into all these 4 languages. And I believe they're adding Dutch. Are they? They're adding Dutch to the patient registry. Okay, so Dr. Bichelle talked about the difference between a patient registry and a natural history study. What I learned is pretty interesting, that a patient registry, there is no universal definition in the medical / disease world out there that everyone uses. And that's for a variety of reasons. But the most reliable one that keeps popping up that a lot of people have used from the NIH, National Institute of Health, is that a patient registry is a collection, for one or more purposes, of standardized information about a group of patients who share a condition or experience. So patient registries are typically a first step in providing a basic understanding of a rare disease's disease burden, as well as its demographic and clinical characteristics. So that's all the one point in time stuff that Dr. Bichelle talked about. And also, I want to add too is, now that we're, as Dr. Bichelle mentioned as well, now that we're moving forward into more of a patient-focused, patient-led research and registries, there's also this, because that is changing as well, whereas in the past, patient registries were solely handled and inputted, if that's a word, by the doctors and the scientists and the researchers, not the patients. So now we're moving into this patient-led area, which then opens up a whole new, what is the meaning of a patient registry and what do we call it and what's the definition? So we're kind of in that gray area. Do I have that right? Okay. So we like to call this hashtag help us get a head count. One of the big reasons we want to have a patient registry and that information is, where is everyone? And how many of us are there, right? So how many people have been diagnosed with BBS in the world, and where does everyone live? Is a quote by all BBS families on social media. I think we get that question monthly, if not weekly. And so up till now, it's just been a guess. 150, maybe 200. So by participating in our first ever patient registry, you can help us get an accurate count of how many of us are out there. And you'll also be able to see these graphs and these maps. You'll be able to see, okay, wow, there's some people in South Africa now. There's some people in Latin America and all over the world. So we'll be able to provide a breakdown by location, age, gender, et cetera, and we'll be able to share it with the community to help you better connect with one another and not rely on Facebook. So what is a natural history study? Well, we know that's a whole different ballgame, and it's not hard. It's easy. You're gonna love it. No, Dr. Bichelle's keeping it real. It's not. But our lives, after the birth of our children, well, guess what? It's just not easy. That's just the lot but it's amazing. And it's worth it, exactly. So natural history studies collect information on how a disease affects a person over a lifetime, as we all know now. And there are many ways that we can collect this information, and the way that we're doing it as a foundation is through those surveys. So why collect these surveys? Well, again, just to piggyback on Dr. Bichelle, it's to learn more about how the disease progresses over time. Right now we have snapshots, we have anecdotes on Facebook, we have comments from parents about what happens at this age, what happened at that age. We need to make that official, and we need to gather it all together to know how it what happens over time. And we need to be, as Stephanie says, research ready. If we don't have this information, nobody's going to be interested. They want it all there ready to go. For future clinical trials, pharmaceutical development. So how often will I need to fill out the surveys? Well, we will release an average of 4 surveys a year. Is that right? We're going to do our best not to burden you and send you a survey. It's not like it's going to be every week or every month even. What's important to note is that updating those surveys is really important. So you have the first survey maybe of the head to toe. And then next year, you'll get that same survey and just update it. What's changed, what hasn't? And that is where the natural history part comes in, because that's what we're going to see changing over time. So that is an important part of that is you'll learn is when you log in and create an account, it's a simple switch of a toggle saying that, yes, I want to be updated by email of when that next survey is coming up and when I need to fill it out. Because I can guarantee you're not going to go up and, ooh, when's that next survey? Let me check. So just leave it to Matrix to remind you. Okay, very important question. Who's going to have access to that data? Well, there's 2 different types of data. There's identified data and de-identified data. So identified data, that means it's identified. It's the name attached to the information. So very few study administrations. For example, 1 or 2 members of board members of the foundation. But most importantly, it's you. You're going to have all that information, and you can decide who you want to share it with. So you'll have it all in your account. Hopefully you'll want to share it with us, but yeah, so you can share it with whoever you want, doctors, teachers, caregivers. This is what's really awesome about this registry is that it's all there, and you can give it to someone else to learn more about your child. So de-identified data, that's where the bulk of information, the bulk of people will have that information. It will be de-identified. So you'll just be, your child or yourself will be a number. That's it. So who, which means anonymous. So who is accessing this data? Everyone on that list. Most importantly, the last one, any researchers in industry who are interested in working with BBSOAS. And also the BBSOAS community, yourselves. Again, going back to those questions that we get on Facebook or that we get through emails or that we get through Instagram, whatever it is, those questions will all be there in that registry, in the matrix. You'll see it in real time, who's logging on, who's providing information, how many kids are diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, how many have hypotonia, seizure activity, all of that. So speaking of de-identified data, what is the CIRD? And Dr. Bichelle touched on this briefly. This is a clinical research ID. My daughter Sidel actually has a CIRD. She's one of the patients involved in the biorepository. We provided a blood sample, and so she has her own number. And what makes this helpful is that once you have that number, you don't have to keep inputting your information over and over again regarding your child. You just have a number, and that researchers and scientists can just refer to that single number across the board. Is that right? Okay. And again, the patient decides who they want to share it with. Okay, so other than filling out surveys, how else can I use Matrix? This is probably one of the most important factors in the decision that Stephanie made, in what registry we want to go with. On top of the fact that Dr. Bichelle had vetted several patient registries and provided us with, here are the best ones out there, pick. And we did, and what we loved about Matrix was that the personal health monitoring tool. So you can use it as your own personal health monitoring tool. It's not just a space where you log in, you give up your information, you answer the study questions, and then that's it. It can be of use to you. You don't have to carry around those binders anymore. It can be all there in the matrix. Okay, medication tracker. So here you can log all your medications, your dosages, your refill dates, no more jotting it down on notes, pieces of paper, randomly in your phone. You can just load this up, put it in, and then it's done. And you can also receive text and email alerts for all those medication and dosages. What does that one say? Symptoms and activities tracker. Okay. It basically is what it explains itself. So you can document seizure activity, doctor's appointments, sleep patterns, and what's really cool is that then a graph is created to kind of summarize everything that you've put in. And even better, you can find correlations between the medications that you've used and the symptoms attached to those. So there's that. Journals. That's another place where you can just the thoughts and notes about a doctor's appointment or things happening with your child. Maybe you just met with a doctor who you're not a fan of, so you can put in "don't see Dr. So-and-so again," and that way it's there. Documents. This is what I mentioned before, no more bulky binders. You can upload anything, all your documents. Yes, this will take time. Yes, you're not going to like it. But once you do, it is amazing. Stephanie did that with the prior patient registry that we had before, and still kind of uses it, I think, until now. So yeah, IEPs, CVI evaluations, anything. And this is also a great tool to use too because it's all there, so you can share it with your teachers, your therapists, anybody that you want. Message Center, okay. This is another great way to communicate with us, with the NR2F1 Foundation. Again, no more Facebook messaging. You could still Facebook message us, of course, but this is a more secure way to do it, a little bit more legit, so no more relying on social media. Resource Center, just as we have on our website, we've got a ton of resources. This will also be a go-to spot for you to have resources. So documents that we mentioned, those letters from Dr. Schaaf, Dr. Edmond, for example, everything will be there and updated and ready for you to use. Sorry. What does that say? Okay, there we go. Never leave things on a desk that your child has access to. Okay, what are the next steps? So what do I do now? What's that? I said you should put it in the portal. You're right. Okay, well, it's all there. Number 1, create an account in Matrix. Number 2, upload that genetic report. I can't stress that enough. Because unfortunately, everything that you put in, if you don't have that genetic report, it doesn't mean anything. Because people aren't going to, researchers, scientists, we can't use any of your information or make use of it until it's confirmed. Because we know everyone out there is going to just want to have fun and just pretend they have BBSOAS and put in other information. Just kidding, but seriously, you do need to upload that genetic report. And as we go down the road, don't worry, you're probably totally overwhelmed right now with all this information and what to do. It's okay. We have time, and we will go through it with you day by day, week by week. We will be in communication. And also, so upload the genetic report, fill out those surveys, and then turn on the survey notifications. That's it. All right, so how do I do this? Well, if you look behind you at that water station right there, and at that water station over there, Stephanie developed some beautiful rack cards. One side has steps, step by step, on how to log in and create an account. And you know what? Maybe you could just start there. Don't think about the surveys today, tomorrow, whatever. Piecemeal it. but go in and log in and start that account. And on the back is FAQs, so you can learn a little bit about the frequently asked questions. So information will be available there. Information will be available on our website. We'll have an entire page dedicated to that with the link. Of course, we will continue to use Facebook to provide that information as well in our private group, and also our emails from the foundation. I love this picture. I love this picture. I had to ask Stephanie, can I use this? Because I thought of what is the image that comes to mind when you're just frustrated and you can't get it to work. This is Charlotte, Stephanie's little one. I love it because just like our kids, they don't play around with pleasing you. If they're not happy or they don't want to smile, they're just not going to do it. I love it. So, with that being said, if you're having issues, technical issues, questions about the surveys, whatever, we are here to help. Contact us. You can contact us at NR2F1.org info or through the matrix. So we are so excited to announce that thank you to Melissa Thalen, our research chair. She reached out to Riften. Is anybody familiar with Riften? How about durable medical equipment? Okay, so she reached out, asked if they could be a sponsor, and they said, well, we'll do one better, and we'll offer a coupon that entitles someone to a free Riften product of any value, including accessories. This is thousands of dollars. It is for all our virtual who are around the world. We do apologize that it's only available to U.S. residents. We would love to make it available to everyone around the world, but we just cannot. But we are still so excited to take advantage of this opportunity, and we want to thank Riften for providing this. This is the first time that they've done this, like offered a coupon with no value. You can just pick whatever you need, your family needs. So we're doing this as a little motivation to get you all on and creating an account and finishing those surveys. So more details to come about all of that. We will have a survey. We will have a survey in the surveys about asking you a little bit more questions about, what you need, why you need it, getting a little bit more information to find the best candidate. But it'll be kind of like a raffle. So that. And for our international residents, we would like to offer $300 store credit plus free shipping at the NR2F1 Foundation store. We got a lot of cool stuff in that store. So, patient-led research equals we are the experts. It's us. We know our kids the best. So let's not let others decide what is important to learn and study about BBSOAS. Because if we don't do these surveys, if we don't fill out this information, that's what's going to happen. Either that or nothing. Nothing will happen. And we'll continue to talk about it on Facebook, and we'll continue to share our stories, but nothing will happen. And since we're already a small sample size, it's hard to draw conclusions. But if everyone in our group participates, we can turn quantity into quality. So, alone we are rare. Together, we are BBSOAS. Alone we are rare. Together, we are BBSOAS. All right, thank you very much. So I would like to add that Terry Jo, Dr. Bichelle, and Dr. Horning have offered their time they're going to have a little table out there, right? And if you're ready to go, you can log in and create an account, and they're here to help you do that today. So you can at least get that done. Don't worry about the surveys again, right? Not today. But they're offering to do this, so this is a really great opportunity. Take advantage if you can. When could we do this? Maybe on the break between? Okay. So we'll do this. We're going to have another. Oh, we are ahead of schedule. That's wonderful. So at this coming up break, we'll do that. You'll have almost an hour of a break, and during that time, you can stop by and take advantage of that. After that, at 4:30, we have Noam Brown, who is a musician, and he's a guy with a guitar, loves kids. He's driving 3 hours to come here because he he heard about, I talked to him about the foundation in our kiddos, and he was just really wanted to be a part of it. So he's coming to play music for us. We're going to move some tables around. It's going to be open, and we're just going to have fun and let our kids be our kids and let us be us, and wrap it up with a little musical celebration. So be back here at 4:30 with your kids, with everyone, and we'll have fun. Did I miss anything? Yes.
On the genetic report, like you have a PowerPoint with the mutation the baby has. Is that what you're wanting uploaded, or is it a more official document that you should have received somewhere along the way?
It's an official document, not a PowerPoint. So it would be from your geneticist, from, what else?
If they have a MyChart, I was able to do a records request through MyChart, and then they emailed it to me through that.
So my chart, if anybody has that, medical records request, not just the number, it's an actual report.
Or just speak with your physician about it, and they should be able to guide them in the right direction.
Perfect, yeah, you can start with your pediatrician and just say, hey, I need my son, daughter's genetic report. Where do I go for that? And I'm sorry, I jumped the gun a little bit. I guess we could do some questions. If anybody has any questions, should we start with the chat? Does anybody have any questions online? No questions? Yes.
I have a question. I know that there's certain things like, I don't know, Fitbits or something like that, and I guess you can sync the data. Is there something like that that you can sync into the data, like for the activity tab?
Do you want to?
Stick an EHR integration.
I just figure the more data, the better, so.
You got it. Good question.
There will be. That's the answer. There isn't yet, but they're really trying. So step one is just to get your basic data in there and start especially the genetic report and then some of the other surveys, and then over time, hopefully we'll be able to link a lot of stuff like that. Sleep measures and activity measures and even things like heart rate and all those measures. Eventually, we'll be able to link it. Not yet.
Probably should stay up here.
Okay.
Things like the Vineland that, maybe somebody else is doing for our kids on a regular frequency, are their results something that we would be including, or is it?
Oh, that is a great question. She asked, yeah, I should have repeated the first question. Sorry. Yeah, okay. This question was things like the Vineland adaptive behavior scale. That's a test that a lot of our kids get at school, and some doctors do it, and it's just to see how far developmentally they are along. So Melissa asked, if you get those kind of scores, is that something you want to upload? Yes. You want to upload all that stuff. And pretty much everything that you can upload, you should upload. And then people who don't have the Vineland, we're hoping that eventually like this year, we'll be able to give the Vineland to your kid on Zoom, and that'll go directly into the app. So there'll be a lot of ways to collect this. Also, in the future, you can actually have your doctor enter data directly into it. Not right this second yet. We got to do it in bits and pieces. So, any other questions while I'm standing here? Oh, there's one.
Yeah, I have an online question. Is the link live on the website yet for us, for those attending virtually for the app?
Yes, it is. Hand me that thing. Oh, it doesn't have it on there? It's on okay, go ahead. I didn't repeat the question.
Oh, that's okay, because Brian is. Oh, okay. Okay, so that's a great question. We will have the link up on the website. We do not have it up there yet, unfortunately, for a variety of reasons, but our web designer will be getting to that. For now, we will have the link available. It's on the rack card. These are for people that are virtual. Okay, so we will post the link on Whova, and it is also in the rack card that we will also share on Whova and through email and through Facebook.
We'll be promoting it in the next couple of weeks. They're gonna be tired of seeing us.
Yes, we'll be promoting it everywhere, like Stephanie said, so, yes.
You mentioned CRID ID, I believe that's what it's called, and submitting a blood sample. How do we go about doing that? Is that something we would talk to pediatrician, geneticist? How do we get that started? If that's something we wanted to do?
Could you make sure I
So
understand the question?
the question was, we mentioned the CRID and also a blood sample, and how would people go about doing that? It's a great idea to get your CRID now. You go to get your CRID stands for Clinical Research ID. To get your CRID, you go to www.thecrid.org. THECRID.org. It's free. It's basically you're creating your own social security number for your health care. You own that number, and you can give it to anybody you want. But you only get that one. You don't get a new one every time you enter. If you forget it, it's just sort of like if you forget a password. You go back in and reset your password, but it's always going to give you the same CRID once you have your CRID. So the nice thing about the CRID, we're trying to get, hopefully bit by bit, Dr. Shah will start using the CRID. Dr. Edmond will use the CRID. Dr. Schaff will use the CRID. Hopefully, bit by bit, all these researchers will start using the CRID. And then if one of Dr. Shah's patients happens to be in Europe and gets treated by Dr. Schaff and gets a chart over there, they could be linked by the CRID. So if you do a study through your foundation and you have a CRID, but you also go see Dr. Shah and he uses a CRID, you can link those two records together. So hopefully this is not going to be instant. We're hoping that people will start adopting the CRID. So use the CRID now. Get the CRID now, and then just start giving the CRID to whoever you think needs it, who's doing research. Okay, that was question number one. Question number two is about blood samples. So as part of Combined Brain, we created a biorepository. The biorepository costs money. And so your foundation came up with a little bit of money to cover the costs of creating a couple of stem cell lines. And they would need to go through their strategic research plan and decide if they need more lines of different genotypes than they already have. And if so, then they would reach out and ask the group if you could give your blood sample to also go into the biorepository. But they would need to raise the money to do that first. So if you gave a blood sample now, which would be really nice, but they don't have the money geared up for that at this moment. So hold that thought, get that CRID, and then get ready to do that eventually. And while I'm talking about this, should I mention, God forbid something terrible should ever happen to your child. God forbid. But think about if something terrible should happen, if you could donate the body to science. And you could do that through NR2F1 Foundation. So that's another reason to have the CRID, because you could link that CRID up to any of the other information that you already had about that child and about what happened. According to what Dr. Schaff said, only one person they know of so far has ever passed away with BBSOAS. So this is not going to happen anytime soon, let's hope. Okay? Any other questions while I'm up here? Got one over there in the back. Go ahead. Hi. Oh, gosh, that's a great question. The question was, is the CRID only available in the States? No. In fact, the beauty of the CRID, because the Europeans have a much more stringent policy about personal data and protecting your data. And so, in fact, the CRID was developed in Europe. It's in Ireland, where it sits. And it's specifically because to work with the European regulations. So it's an international number. There are a lot of unique identifying numbers. It's so funny how you get into any one of these things and you find out there's a million things going on. So our own government makes a number called the GUID. And you may go to a study and be given a GUID. The problem is the Europeans don't trust the GUID because the US government makes it. Yes, so the CRID, you make it yourself. The patient makes it and the patient owns it, and that's why it's special. Anybody else? Oh.
Are you considering a shorter domain name for future? It's kind of complex.
Well, the question is, are we considering a shorter domain name for the future? I don't know what the domain name is. Is it on here?
NR2F1.org/matrix, and then it would redirect to that URL.
Oh, we can ask.
Accessing it through a link will be much easier. We just did that for the RAP.
Okay. Stephanie says that in the future, it'll always be just accessed through a link. And she just put that whole big, long, list of letters on here for the RAP card. But in the future, it'll be, but that's a great question. I mean, yeah, we should just ask the Matrix if they can do a shorter one, because, yeah, that is ridiculous. Okay. Anybody else have a good question? Anybody online with a question?
No, ma'am.
All righty. That was fun. I didn't even sneeze or cough when. Okay, is that it? You want to close them out?
Well, I apparently closed already and then didn't. Okay, so now it's 3:50. Yeah, you have about 40 minutes to decompress and do what you need to do with your kids. Just be back here by 4:30. You can be back here a little earlier if you want. And then we'll get the party started. All right.